Hey, welcome back to the channel. My name is Matt, and today we are talking about selling memberships online, in person, whatever it is that you're trying to sell. I'm going to give you guys some pointed advice that has worked for me, and I think it will really up your game. So there's a few things that we need to run through. I have some notes on the computer. Let's dive right in. I was just working with a client of mine, and I wanted to kind of share some of the good stuff that we discussed, all right? So when you're trying to sell something, one of the big things that you need to start with is removing all assumptions and opinions, okay? This client of mine had a bunch of assumptions about what people are willing to pay for, what they're not willing to pay for, and I think that's one of the big things that people don't seem to understand whether you're doing affiliate marketing, running your own business, whatever it is, you have to come at it without any assumptions. People might say, they're never going to buy something that costs $10,000. Well, if you've ever looked at Tai Lopez's programs or any of these high roller guys, they're selling programs for 10 grand, 30 grand, 100 grand. So you can't really have those kinds of assumptions because you're kind of like shutting off part of your brain and ignoring a whole bunch of potential data. I was watching a video about Etsy, selling products on Etsy, which is something that I do in my business as well. And they were saying that you cannot sell a digital product for more than $2 to $4. And this instantly turned me off to this person because it's an assumption. You're assuming that that's correct. You're assuming that the limitation is $2 to $4. I personally have sold thousands of digital products on that platform between $20 and $60 and sometimes a little more than that. So, it's really about what the offer is and how you package it. And I'm going to show you guys how you can do that in a way that actually gets the customer to say yes. Somebody was telling them that they can't sell a membership for $2,000 a year. Now, this is in the fitness industry. And if you have ever looked at a gym membership at like Equinox or any of those higher end companies, you'll know that they charge between $2 and $3 or even more $100 per month. And a $2,000 a year deal is actually not that big of a deal because if you do the simple math, if you did the 200 times 12, that's $2,400. So you're already charging that, okay? And then times 12, not 2,400. So that's the 2,400 right there. And if you wanted to charge up front and just get the cash in the door, what you could do is charge $200 up front and then charge $1,850 for the year. So it kind of works out the same, but you're getting that much more money in the door immediately. So let's say you sold $200 deals and you sold 50 of them, that's $10,000. But let's say you sold, after a month, you sold the $1,850 package, right? So you're getting about $2,200. Well, now you're looking at $100,000. So you got your year's worth of money up front, and then you can use the rest of the year to sell them other helpful things that get them through whatever it is that you're doing, okay? So it's a really good way to build on top of a pricing structure that would normally be, $200 a month. So what you can do to figure this out is you got to test your market with ultra clear messaging. You need to be very, very clear about what the offer is and how it's going to help and benefit these people. So how do you go about doing that? Well, you remove the client's assumptions, opinions, and misconceptions about the product. If you have a gym, right, and you offer personal training, maybe you're a personal trainer in and of itself, you can remove the misconception and the opinions that personal trainers don't help. They don't do a good job. They don't keep an eye on the ball. You fall off track. You're gaining weight, stuff like that. If you packaged it in a sense that, hey, we're going to do a weekly weigh-in, we're going to do a monthly weigh-in, we're going to track your progress, we're going to take measurements at the beginning, the middle, and the end, and we're going to see over time an improvement, and we're going to make adjustments throughout that process. If you're not making progress, let's say you plateau, Maybe we'll run a blood panel to check that everything's okay. Maybe we'll set you up with a nutritionist, stuff like that. What you're doing is you're removing the misconceptions and opinions because we're actually giving them the safety net that everything's going to work out okay. And your job is to deliver on that promise. So you're going to show exactly what they get and what they don't get with your membership, whatever that may be. You need to be ultra clear with the deliverables and how it benefits, and then back it up with testimonials and proof. You want to be transparent about the offer, the benefits, and the pricing. You want to offer an out for them. It could be a guarantee, a warranty, stellar customer support. You need to have a mechanism in there for good feedback to come back to you so that you can make an adjustment so that you can ultimately have a happy customer at the end of it. One of the worst things that you can do is ignore the customer, grab their money, end up with them disappointed, upset, whatever, and then leave it where they just go away, they never come back, they leave you a 1-star review. Well, guess what? You're not going to be in business very long because people are going to catch on and they're not going to want to work with you. So if you can, again, create that safety net, then people are going to be more willing to give you a chance, and you're going to end up with a really good customer satisfaction score at the end of that. And then we back everything up with undeniable proof. So that could be client testimonials, photos, videos. It could be a demonstration of the product, how it works. Could be a testimonial that's a video that somebody can explain their situation and how it helped them. You can show how easy it is to use, and you can show how it saves them time. Something that you need to understand when selling a membership or anything at all is that people are buying outcomes. They're not there for the product. Okay, so they're not there for, let's say you have a yoga studio, right? Or you have a real estate office. Okay, people don't want a realtor. They want to buy a house, or they want to sell a house, or rent their house. They're not looking for the realtor necessarily. They're looking for the outcome. I want to sell my house for a profit. I want to find a rental property that will give me a better income. I'm looking for a house that's a deal. I want to save money. That is what people are ultimately after. So if you can sell them on the outcome and then back it up, well, then you don't have to hard sell anything because you're offering a solution to their problem. You could also craft the offer so that the customer cannot lose. And I already talked about this, but basically you give them the safety net that they need so that they can actually come out on top. Somehow, some way, they need to come out on top. And if you can figure out how that works, well, then you ultimately win. And you can really start by just asking for feedback for your early customers. Get their feedback, help them, work with them one-on-one, give them that extra support that they may need. And then that way you can actually seal the leaks in your business, and you can end up with a workflow that works a lot better for people. So you want to test with data, right? So that means tracking visits, clicks, traffic. Could be web traffic, could be foot traffic. You want to measure the conversion rate. So conversion rate, if you're not familiar, it basically means how many people come to the offer and how many people buy. All right, so if you were to do a CTR, that's CTR for short, so on 100 people, right? So on a 1% conversion rate, that's kind of like a baseline number that you can look towards. So if you need something to base this off of, try with a 1% conversion rate. So every 100 people, you'll get 1 sign up. If you're getting less than that, if you're sending in 1,000 people and nobody buys anything, well then you've got something wrong with your offer. You need to check all of the packaging. You need to step through the buying process and figure out where people are falling off the wagon. So if you're doing it online, it's very easy because you can track where people are clicking, how many people are clicking, and then you can see how many people get to the checkout page, and you can see if they're ultimately leaving the checkout page, or are they adding it to the cart and not checking out, stuff like that. You can pick up subtle signs of why something's not working. You adjust the offer as needed. If people aren't buying, again, step through it. Have a friend do it. Were they confused? Get their honest feedback. Were they confused? Is something misrepresented? Is the pricing wrong? Is it sloppy? Does it look good? Whatever that may be, make adjustments and just keep testing. Get honest feedback from customers and use it to improve the offer. A lot of businesses don't do this. I was working with a client and they were losing customers like every single week. They were losing customers and they didn't know why. And I said, okay, do you have any inclination as to why they're losing the customer? And they literally had no idea. So I asked them to figure it out. And it turned out that a lot of the customers have old injuries that they're fighting through. So you can literally figure that out and say, okay, my customers are actually injured. What can I do to help those injured people? Because I don't want to lose them forever. I would rather them come in and maybe I can refer them to a physical therapist, or I can have somebody come in and take a look at them, somebody that's actually qualified, and then we can actually, get them on the right track, get them exercises that they can do without injuring themselves further. Super key. And we should talk about what makes a good offer on YouTube, right? Just as an example, I'll give you a different example. I do a 45-minute one-on-one call, right? I personally review your site, your strategy, the idea, your business, whatever it is. If you're serious about making this work, this is going to save you time, frustration, and money, okay? That's just an example offer that I do, okay? I give you feedback on brick and mortar business, could be local SEO, could be your website, could be an Etsy shop. Those are my focused points where I shine, okay? And for $49, it's a 45-minute call. You get a private Zoom call with me. I go over your website and SEO. I give you feedback. I give you a direction to run in. I give you an affiliate strategy to optimize with. So if you're an affiliate marketer, or even if you're not, if you're just a brick and mortar business, you can earn some extra income using affiliate strategies. Recommendations for some AI tools that I use that saves me time and energy and money. So I will give you that. And I'll give you a recording of the session, and I'll give you the call notes as well. So you will literally get a PDF as an email with everything that we discussed in one cohesive package. You can go back and reference it, all right? And then I back it up. I have backup proof that this stuff works. It helps people. There's a good benefit to it, and you're actually able to take my knowledge, put it to action, and earn yourself extra money. So my knowledge, the $49, is well worth the money because I'm giving you all this information that you can go and run with and apply to your own business. So you're going to make that money back by hook or crook. It might take you some time, but you'll make that money back because I'm going to teach you such good, helpful stuff. Fast traffic methods. We're talking about paid ads, what we can do to get people to your offer. All right. So there's a bunch of different ways you can do this, but if you're struggling with traffic, this is the part for you. You could do paid ads. You could do it on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Google search, and even Google Maps. So if you're trying to get your business shining through the rankings, you can even pay for an ad on there, and you can punch through. You could do geographic ads, right? So let's say you're a barber, and you only service Manhattan. You can just advertise in Manhattan. You can target specific areas, whatever it may be. You can entice people with free giveaways, guides, classes, and evaluations. These are lead magnets. This is part of the offer because you can provide some real value for people. People are always saying, oh, provide value, provide value. Well, this is how you can actually do it in a real world way, because if your ad is going to a landing page and the landing page gives you a guide on how to eat properly, let's say you're a dietitian, then you're giving that helpful information. Here's what to buy, here's what to avoid, here's a 5-day plan, and by the way, here's a method of contacting me if you want to work together. That's really key because it gives them a low barrier entry and then you can upsell them on your services. Not only that, but you build a mailing list with that information. You collect their emails, you collect their names, and if you get their phone number, even better. And then you're using that mailing list to snowball your business up. All right, so you grow your list from 100 people to 1,000 people. Now you can remarket to those guys with an email follow-up. You can ping them with a monthly newsletter. You can send them a weekly email, whatever it is that works for your business. And in each email, you would provide good, helpful information. Hey, did you know cucumbers are bad for you? You know, whatever it is. And then you have a subtle upsell in there where you just keep saying like, hey, if you want to work with me, click here and you can book a call. As your list grows, the probability that somebody's going to actually say yes goes through the roof. So if you were to look at our conversion rate thing again, let's say you had 1,000 people on your list. Well, if you got a 1% conversion rate from the email series, you might get 10 signups. Now, you run your ad for another month or two, and let's say you get 10,000 people on your list. Well, now you get 100. So you can scale the business that way, and you can nurture your mailing list in a good way. Then you can see this stuff really start to skyrocket. Other lead magnet ideas, think in terms of 6-week challenges, boot camps, starter courses, 7 to 14-day starters, fitness evaluations, accountability programs, seasonal and themed packages. You could do something for like Halloween, Christmas, whatever. You could do something after New Year's where everybody's trying to get through their resolutions. You can help them with accountabilities and, you know, hey, I'm gonna be there to support you. I'm gonna have the dietitian there on January 30th to make sure that you stuck to your resolution. And if you didn't, then, you know, we'll work on that. Other traffic methods, press releases. This is a really good way to get clear and decisive news to your site. You can send them right to the offer. You can send them to a lead magnet. You can get visibility for your business. It's an often overlooked method of traffic, but press releases go straight to the top of Google. I'll just show you guys. If you were to go to Google and you were to type in like Tesla, first thing you're going to see is usually news. So if you were to do a news article about like, you have to make it newsworthy, but you know, this new diet trend, whatever, is breaking the internet, and you make it as a press release, it's gonna get some traction. You make programmatic social media. This is a great traffic method. You can do free classes, tips, instructions, and you can point everybody to the opt-in. Go to my site, just like me. Go to mattmakesmoney.com. You can opt in there, and I'm going to give you the show notes, including these notes, once you sign up. So if you're on my mailing list and previously on my mailing list, you will get these notes on a regular schedule. You want targeted content, all right? You need to think horizontally. Who is your ideal customer? Now, what do I mean by that? What does that actually mean? Who's your customer? Let's say you run a gym or a studio, right? Do you want ex-Pilates and ex-yogis to join? Well, you might, because they're somewhat dedicated to that craft and they left for a reason. Why did they leave? Can you fix the reason why they left? Is it because of the injuries or is it some other reason? Let's talk a little bit more about programmatic content, okay? Thinking horizontally. I'll give you an example. ChatGPT is fantastic for this, but what I mean by that is you need to spread your niche out in a different way, okay? So let's say you are a barber, you have a school that you teach haircutting in, okay? So what you would do is you would think horizontally and you'd say, what are the different names of the hair cutting techniques used by barbers, okay? And you're gonna start making the content based on this, because if we can start pulling in people that are looking for a blunt cut, point cut, you know, all this, these are people that are already in tune with what haircutting is about, and they are looking for instructional videos on how to do this. Get some people together, cut their hair, do these different techniques, show them how it's done, and then you segment the videos out. So it's like one video is just going to be on this, one video is just on this. Then you can start pointing people to your lead magnet for your school, and you say, hey, if you want to learn all the methods, come check us out. That's a really good way to do it. And you can do this with pretty much any niche. Let's say you run a tree cutting business, right? You're just trying to get clients in the door. Well, what are the top 25 pests that homeowners deal with regarding their trees? And then you make content based on that. Okay, so we've got, this is a bug, this is a type of beetle, we got a bunch of beetles, a bunch of insects. So make content about that. Hey, this is what you can look for on your trees. They make certain holes. The holes look a specific way. Up here, we've got the lanternfly, which is this disgusting red bug that everybody's supposed to kill. And you can make content about that. Like, how do you spot it, and what do you do to destroy it on your trees? Well, you can call us and we'll come in and handle it for you. Also, you want to know your customer. You want to know what their demographics are, and you want to figure out, is this the right offer for them? You could look at their interests, frustrations, outcomes they desire, and then you craft your offer around that. And then you offer a Grand Slam offer. Okay, how can we attract more customers? How can we increase average transaction value? How can we increase the purchase frequency? And how can we make it impossible for the customer to lose? If you can nail this, you will do really well, because that is basically the general stuff of like how a business can grow. For memberships, you could do entry point, right? We talked about this, low ticket challenges, programs that lead into a longer term commitment. You have an upsell path that converts challenge buyers into annual and prepaid packages. So maybe you do a month trial, and then you say, okay, here's the year, it's $2,000, whatever it is. Incentives, you give them perks, bonuses, priority access. There was a Dan Kennedy book that I was reading that they had a pizza place, of all places, a pizza place had a deal where you can pay monthly and you get priority delivery access and priority phone access, because this place was like generally very busy, and they offered that tier, and people jumped on it, and they make a ton of extra money just because they're thinking smart and they're looking at what the complaints are for their customers, and they're offering a solution that's also making them extra money. So just be smart about what it is that you're doing. Gets you more cash up front, better retention, and stronger community. The better you can deliver on your membership, the better your retention will be. You want them to re-up, you want them to stay with you long term. It's really important that you have a good product, good customer service, and that you're doing a good job. You could do product extensions. This is kind of like the affiliate marketing side of things. You can offer supplements. You can offer different types of gear. You can partner with other gear providers. Let's say you own a rock wall place where you can climb a wall. You can offer gear there, or you can partner with a company and offer some kind of discount. You could do limited run merchandise. Print on demand stuff works really well for this. And partnerships. So if you have a gym, you can like send people to a physical therapist nearby so that they can get an evaluation, then they can refer customers back to you as well. So it's a symbiotic relationship. Position your service as a solution to the common problem, and then you offer extra stuff. Churn prevention. Again, this really comes down to good customer service, feedback, following up with the customer, and making sure that they're happy. It is absolutely key that we get them happy, and we want to make sure that they are doing everything that they need to be doing so that they can be successful. We need to show them that they can get the outcome that they signed up for if they do things a certain way. And then obviously you have to deliver on that promise. Back everything up with proof and trust. And then use local PR and community buzz to actually get the word out, right? Partnerships, referral programs, direct mail, that could be flyers, postcards, neighborhood campaigns, and free pop-ups, grand opening previews, and workshops. This might be in the form of a wine tasting, an open house for a house, a workshop on how to paint ceramic, whatever it is, that kind of stuff gets people in. It's low barrier entry, and then there's a high probability of a sign up. Last but not least, if you guys want to work with me, I do the one-on-one calls myself. It's a Zoom call. It's 45 minutes. You guys can pick my brain. You can ask me pretty much anything you want, and I will help you as best that I can. Could be local business, SEO. If you're interested in AI automations, I do a lot of that as well. And if you're looking for like how to better your business, how to streamline things, how to save money, how to earn extra money, that's really where I shine. And I offer all this for $49. So it's really cheap. It's good. I've got the backup. You head to mattmakesmoney.com. You just scroll down here, boop, and you can book your strategy session right here. And then here at the bottom, click here to book your strategy call, and you can literally sign up right there. So 49 bucks, super easy. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll catch you soon.